South Sudan Untold, the home of South Sudan history. From pre-colonial to post-independence, the past lives here.
As the African proverb says, a river does not forget its source. For the people of South Sudan, the long river of liberation has many sources. Communities that resisted injustice, leaders who organized political movements, and fighters who sacrificed their comfort for the dignity of future generations. Among the most important figures in this history is General Joseph Lagu, a soldier, liberation commander, peacemaker, politician, and diplomat. Long before South Sudan became an independent country in 2011, Joseph Lagu helped transform a scattered resistance into a more unified liberation movement. Under his leadership, the Anyanya forces gained a central command, international recognition, and the ability to negotiate with the government in Khartoum. His struggle did not immediately produce an independent South Sudan. However, it established political and military foundations upon which later generations will build. This is the story of Joseph Lagu, the man who exchanged a promising military career for the uncertain road of liberation. Joseph Lagu was born in Momokwe, a small settlement in Moli, in the northern parts of Madiland. The area is located south of Juba and is today associated with Eastern Equatoria State. He belongs to the Madi community, one of the indigenous communities found across what is now South Sudan and northern Uganda. There is disagreement among published sources about his precise date of birth. Some records it as the 26th of November 1929, while biographical information published by Joseph Lagu Foundation gives the 21st of November 1931. What is consistent is that he was born during the period of Anglo-Egyptian rule, before Sudan attained independence. Joseph Lagu's childhood unfolded in a country deeply divided by colonial administrations. Southern Sudan had limited infrastructure, few schools, and fewer opportunities for advanced education. The colonial system treated the North and South differently, leaving the South politically and economically marginalized. Yet, even under these difficult circumstances, education opened a path for the young Lagu. He attended primary school at Malek and later continued his secondary education at the famous Rumbek Secondary School. Rumbek became an important training ground for many members of South Sudan's future political and intellectual leadership. As another African proverb teaches, knowledge is like a garden. If it is not cultivated, it cannot be harvested. Joseph Lagu cultivated the opportunities available to him. He performed well enough to be admitted to study law at the University of Khartoum. A legal career could have offered him prestige and personal security, but Lagu made a different choice. Instead of studying law, he joined the Sudanese Military College in Omdurman. That decision would shape not only his life, but also the history of Southern Sudan. Joseph Lagu graduated from the military college in May 1960. He was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Sudanese army and posted to the 10th Brigade of the Northern Command at Shedi. He was also selected for military training at Britain's Royal Military Academy in Sandhurst, demonstrating that he was regarded as a promising professional officer. But Lagu had joined the army at a deeply troubled moment in Sudanese history. Sudan became independent in January 1956. However, Many Southern Sudanese believed that independence had merely transformed or transferred power from British colonial authorities to a political establishment dominated by northern elites. Southern demands for federalism, political representation, cultural recognition, and regional autonomy were repeatedly neglected. The government also pursued policies that many South Sudanese or Southerners viewed as attempts to impose Arab and Islamic identity across a religiously and culturally diverse country. Tension had already exploded in August 1955 when Southern soldiers of the Equatorial Corps mutinied in Torit and other locations. That uprising became a major starting point of the First Sudanese Civil War. Joseph Lagu therefore faced a difficult question. Should he continue serving an army that was fighting his own people, or should he abandon his career and join the Southern resistance? On the 4th of June 1963, Lagu made his decision. He left the Sudanese army and joined the resistance. This was not simply a change of employment. Defection meant giving up his rank, salary, security, and conventional military future. It also exposed him to the possibility of imprisonment or death if captured. But Lagu believed the grievances of Southern Sudan could no longer be ignored. An African saying reminds us, the brave person is not the one who has no fear, but the one who refused to be ruled by fear. Joseph Lagu had chosen the dangerous path of rebellion. The Southern resistance became widely known as Anyanya, a name commonly associated with a powerful or deadly poisons. The name symbolized the movement's determination to resist a government with far greater military resources. However, the early resistance faced serious weaknesses. Its fighters were divided among different commanders and political organizations. Units frequently operated independently. Communication was difficult, and therefore there was no universal accepted authority capable of speaking for the entire South. Lagu brought professional military experience to the movement. He understood that courage alone could not sustain liberation struggle. Fighters needed organization, training, supplies, political direction, and a central command. During the late 1960s and early 1970s, he worked to bring fragmented Anyanya forces under one leadership. By 1971, he had emerged as Commander-in-Chief of the military forces and leader of the Southern Sudan Liberation Movement, or SSLM, which became the political organization associated with the Anyanya. This unification was one of Lagu's greatest historical achievements. As the proverb says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Before unification, the resistance could fight in separate regions. After unification, it became better positioned to represent or to present common Southern demands and negotiated as a recognized movement. Lagu also understood that the struggle could not survive an international isolation. He established regional and international contacts and sought resistance or assistance from outside to the Anyanya movement for its own strategic reasons connected to regional competition with Arab states. This relationship remained a complicated part of the history. Foreign governments rarely assist liberation movements without pursuing interests of their own. Nevertheless, Lagu used international diplomacy to attract attention to Southern Sudan because that had received limited global recognition. Among young men associated with the Anyanya forces during Lagu's leadership was Dr. John Garang de Mabior, who later became the leader of the Sudan People's Liberation Movement and army during the Second Sudanese Civil War. The Anyanya generation and the SPLA generation were not identical. They operated under different leaders, circumstances, and political visions, yet they formed connected chapters in the long history of Southern resistance. By the beginning of 1970, both Sudanese government and the Southern Liberation Movement had reasons to consider a negotiated settlement. General Gafar Nimeri, who had taken power in Sudan in 1966 or in 1969, indicated a willingness to address Southern problem politically. Religious organizations, particularly the World Council of Churches and the All-African Conference of Churches, helped build communication and trust between the opposition. Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie also supported the mediation process. Joseph Lagu faced another difficult choice. Could he trust negotiation with a government against which the South had fought for years? And could an agreement achieved through dialogue what had not yet been secured on the battlefields? Lagu chose to negotiate, but from the opposition of a position of a more unified movement. The talks produced the Addis Ababa Agreement of 1972, signed between the Sudanese government and the Southern Sudan Liberation Movement. The agreement ended the First Sudanese Civil War and granted Southern Sudan regional autonomy. It established governing institutions for the South and provided arrangement for integrating members of the Anyanya forces into the National Army, police, and other public institutions. It did not create an independent South Sudan. For some liberation supporters, this was a major limitation, but it ended years of warfare and gave Southern Sudan an officially recognized autonomous political space.